beautiful. Right, you play mine for me?
You have something very powerful to offer Australians. I think we can be quite complacent about what we have here. It's not it's something we have to play an active part in. We have to maybe fight to keep, and that's what Hong Kong taught me. And I think what we can do is show Australians the same thing, to use that spirit. So I don't want to keep you any longer. If anyone wants to speak to me, like my role as a journalist, and I think the role of journalists, I'll close on this, that the voice for the voiceless is the theme that we're put here today. And I can speak my mind.
It's not like
I can speak that truth. And I'm happy to hear from anyone who wants to do that, you know, to convey that message to Australians, to the world in the best way we can. So I look forward to hearing the other speakers. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Maybe I can go and hide up there. How you going? How? Yes, correct?
Finally get to
Finally. This is my daughter.
跟住落嚟呢位嘉賓係我哋新州嘅國會議員 Tony Sheldon， 佢一直都有為弱勢社群發聲同埋提出言論自由嘅。
Our next speaker, Senator Tony Sheldon, has been serving our state since 2019. He has been an advocate for freedom of speech and expression and has made a career out of sticking up for the little guy. He is one of our representatives in Parliament, so it means a lot that he is here today.
Get a speech or two.
大家一齊俾啲掌聲，Senator Sheldon，俾 Senator Sheldon 啦。
Give a warm welcome to Senator Sheldon.
Well, first of all, I want to say a very warm welcome to Ted Hughes and to all of you in the New York and the Hong Kongers in New South Wales. Because what you're doing today is saying to everybody in Australia that it's important that democracy and freedom in Hong Kong is brought back, that the government, the Australian government, turns around and supports your endeavours. It's critically important for us in this country, for all of us residing in this country, to stand up for democracy and freedom. It's quite clear that the Magnitsky Act, the Australian version of holding those responsible for objectionable behaviour on freedom, on rights, the opportunity to speak out, that the Magnitsky Act should be critically implemented in Australia so that Hong Kongers and all peoples around the world have the right to make sure that democracies like the Australian government, like the Australian people, and democracies around the world can stand by those that are oppressed in different countries. As Hong Kongers and supporters of Hong Kongers, I'm very proud to say, free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Now as you all know, there was agreements reached, registered with the UN on the Sino arrangements with the British on freedoms and two systems that's supposed to apply and the rights and democracy that's supposed to apply in Hong Kong. And we've seen the CCP turn around and stamp on those rights and those undertakings and those declarations. It's incredibly important for all of us to stand together to talk to our communities and to talk to people across this country and across the world that Hong Kong deserves to be free. The CCP have an obligation to maintain its undertakings that was registered with the UN, and democracy needs to thrive within Hong Kong. I'd also like to express my solidarity for those that have taken out visas, that are looking at visas within Australia. Just as when Tiananmen Square and the then Prime Minister, Labor Prime Minister Bob Hawke, extended residency and ultimately citizenship to all those students in the 80s after that horrific suppression and massacre in Tiananmen Square. It's important that Australia stands up again and just not only talks about visas, but also gives the opportunity for residency for those that wish it and Australian citizenship for those that want it. It's incredibly important that we express to everybody in this country, we stand for a free Hong Kong.
Yes.
I won't speak for much longer, but I'll say to all of you very, very clearly, I'm with you, I support you, and I'll be with the fight until you win. We'll win together. Let's keep the struggle happening. Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Senator, and thank you again for coming.
聽完議員嘅意見之後，係時候就聽下我哋其中一位 New South Wales Caucus 嘅成員嘅心聲啦。嗱，呢個唔係廁所位嚟㗎，你哋唔俾晒人我嬲㗎。好 ，HH 咧就係一位由運動開始已經同我哋一直行到而家。平時佢一向都好低調，好多謝佢今日願意企上嚟同我哋分享。
Next, let's hear from one of our own members of New South Wales Hong Kongers. HH has been with our group since the very beginning, and he has always been passionate about our cause. We are proud to say that he is one of our core members, and we are grateful that he has volunteered to speak here today. Let's hear it for HH!
Morning. Over the last couple of years, it is becoming painfully clear that the Communist Party of China is not a reliable ally to the Australian people. Their actions are increasingly at odds against our core values in Australia. The once optimistic hope that we could influence them towards a democratic society has been gone. But what about the next generation of Chinese citizens? Those who grew up under the influence of the strongest propaganda machine the world has seen. Is there a chance that they could break free and to put China into this era of true reform and to become a democratic society in the foreseeable future?
Take it around the other side in a sec.
So that yellow helmet or goggles and things like that, that's actually
What they were actually, yeah, the gear they'll get new.
masks to protect themselves from tear gas.
Yeah.
When we stood up for men and everything, like ex-neighbor, the right to democracy, why did they get mad when we asked them to effectively stop the COVID-19? After you watch that, what do they know to hear about right and wrong? All they get is power by the against them. They believe they have enough power and influence over the people. They use
I should have brought my megaphone for them.
That's one thing. China is blocking the press. And this means China's globally as for the new world order, led by the Supreme Leader of China, Xi Jinping. All they believe that one thing, China will be wrong, representative of all like you do not have to take my record. Just read some of the investment novels. Find what their identity. These are the kind of people that separate facts. People in Australia come from a legal border. These are the kind of people who believe in their war what it would not represent the current
I should have left it up there.
No, no. We don't understand that there are very flexible Some may say, of course, as foreign. Well, I do not have much to say about it. All I hope is that Australia will not be the case. And the most here, it will not. Thank you all have
Get out of this shop. He's back up here.
Thank you, Adrian, for sharing his thoughts with us. Next, we would like to take a few minutes to read some messages sent by you. But before we do that, we want to let you know that we are collecting letters for our freedom fighters imprisoned in Hong Kong. If you brought a letter with you, you can drop it off over there. If you want to write a letter now, we have all the materials there as well. So feel free to grab a paper and pen, and we'll have some time at the end of the event to collect your letters.
聽完 HH 嘅分享，接下嚟我哋想花幾分鐘嘅時間讀下我哋喺 Telegram 同埋社交網站收到嘅一啲留言。但喺開始讀留言之前，想提一提大家，我哋今日會收集大家寫俾喺香港在囚手足嘅信。如果你已經寫好信嘅話，可以直接放低喺白色台嗰邊。如果你而家想寫嘅話，我哋有齊文房四寶、紙筆墨硯，可以喺嗰邊拎張紙、拎支筆，坐低慢慢寫。喺集會完結之前，我哋都會俾時間大家放低你嘅信，所以唔需要急，但係最緊要快喎，知唔知啊？好啦，講咗咁耐，係時候讀下留言啦。
第一位係一位叫 Double J 嘅朋友，光照在黑暗裏，黑暗卻沒有勝過光。各位香港被押和在囚嘅手足撐住，保重身體，黑暗終必過去。我哋冇忘記你哋嘅付出。
然後係嚟自 Melbourne 嘅巴斯胡迪嘅網友話啦，多謝你哋 New South Wales Honkanos 嘅平台，可能我哋一直都有聯繫，所以我比較相信你哋。致所有同路嘅香港人，不能忘記嘅2019，你哋仲記唔記得？係咪已經習慣咗？希望大家可以召喚另一種方式繼續行落去。其實大家做咗嘢唔一定要話俾其他人知，用自己嘅方式，需要團結時候團結就可以啦。只要仲有心就可以啦。請緊記，只要有香港人就會有希望。請大家唔好放棄，勿忘初心，不分化，不篤灰，不割席。請珍惜你哋身邊嘅手足們。請唔好忘記我哋嘅煲底滋養。最後喺香港唔講得、唔唱得嘅，希望我哋可以喺另一片天空之下，唱一次香港嘅國歌。香港人加油！
然後一位無名嘅手足，我想呼籲澳洲人預備為面共一齊努力，特別停止出口各樣礦材去中國。冇袋鼠礦材，一定冇靚鋼水整軍備，打台灣發夢，連發電都唔夠煤用。澳洲係有能力一粒子彈都唔用就將共匪殲滅。
然後都係一位嚟自無名嘅朋友，佢就話啦：小編你好，我係一個喺澳洲讀緊大學嘅廣州人。喺我心入面，香港一直都有一個好重要嘅位置。除咗因為我有好多香港嘅親戚同埋朋友，仲有係因為以前嘅香港係唯一一個同我文化語言相近，而又享受到自由民主人權嘅地方，帶俾我好多政治體目。自2019年 呢個反人類嘅政權將會倒下。所以即使而家幾咁艱難都好，香港人堅持你哋嘅 value and identity， 企硬唔好放棄，我願榮光歸香港。
That's all our messages for now, and we know that not everyone can take the stage personally, so thank you to everyone who submitted their messages.
留言就先讀到嚟呢度啦，好多謝大家將你哋嘅心意同我哋分享。跟住呢一位朋友係嚟自 Australian Taiwanese Friendship Association 嘅代表。喺運動爆發之前，香港人視台灣為旅遊熱點同埋食 shopping 食好西嘅天堂。大家去過台灣嘅舉一舉手啊！好多人去過台灣喎，但係而家中共政權正摧殘緊我哋嘅城市，台灣就成為咗好多想尋找自由嘅香港人嘅樂土。台灣人呢一刻可以話係民主亞洲嘅傑出代表，我哋好高興佢哋嘅代表 Kiki 今日可以嚟到呢度同我哋分享。
Up next, we have an important guest from the Australian Taiwanese Friendship Association. In better times, Hong Kongers consider Taiwan a top tourist destination for shopping and street food. Now, as the CCP crushes our city, Taiwan is a refuge for those who seek freedom. Taiwan and its people are standing as leaders of a free Asia. We're happy to have our next speaker today. Please put your hands together for Kiki.
打麻手掌。
Dear friends, I'm not an eloquent speaker, but I hope my presence here tells you you have the support of the Taiwanese people behind you. We have learned of your struggles against an oppressive tyrant like the CCP, who broke their promise of one country, two systems, somewhat 20 years too early. Who wants to trade with a government like this? Your people are out here fighting for democracy, demonstrating. Yet some of your parents, your friends in Hong Kong take the defeatist attitude because it's much easier, less violent to accept the rules of an oppressive power like CCP. We are a small minority, yet I want you to know that you have the support of the Taiwanese people here. We need to work together. As you know, this is a global village. We're all interdependent on each other. It's no good that Taiwan has democracy and continues to evolve, but you need to look at our history. There was 40 years of violence and bloodshed. So many heroes fought before us so that we have the state of democracy that we currently have, but it's still a work in progress. One of the reasons that my family migrated here some 35 years ago was because of the oppression in Taiwan. Although it wasn't as bad as CCP, but nonetheless, an oppressive government. We are still living with a legacy of grandparents, great-grandparents being dragged out in the middle of the night, being shot or disappearing. People disappear, although we're not one of the 228 families, but everybody knows somebody who was affected. I want you to know, please don't be discouraged. You have friends, more than you think. I want you to know that eventually, if you struggle long enough, people come along and see what your cause is about. Surely there's a huge mainland Chinese population here because they're running away from the CCP. They want a better life. I think we really have to work on our friends and our family and get them to have the courage to stand up with us and fight. Thank you. You have a friend in the Taiwanese people. Thank you, Kiki, for those kind words. Before we get to another speaker, we want to take a moment to share a message from another of our members.
好多謝 Kiki 嘅分享啊！咁其實唔單止台灣 友同我哋香港人一陣有好多共同嘅核心價值啦。但係咧，我哋想請我哋另外一位 New South Wales Hongkongers 嘅代表施寶出嚟同大家講幾句。掌聲！喂，聽到啊？早晨，係啊，都好耐冇喺個台度講嘢，好多謝大家咁凍嘅朝頭早都依然喺今日嘅集會出現啦。可能大家有所不知啦，因為疫情等等嘅因素咧，今年係我哋國安法以嚟要受嘅香港人第一次搞嘅集會。我哋知道大家今日可以企出嚟咧，一啲都唔容易，所以多謝大家出席啊！我哋今日企喺度，係為咗紀念2019年香港嘅反修例運動。呢場運動嘅起始係因為大家反對逃犯條例嘅修訂，然後演變成一場捍衛我哋香港核心價值嘅抗爭。喺過去嘅24個月，香港人都經歷咗好多嘢。我哋睇住我哋嘅城市，自由嘅城市由東方之珠變催淚之城，睇住曾經譽為亞洲第一嘅香港警隊變做國際之恥，睇住曾經喺世界上最自由一個地方淪為世界上最冇自由嘅一個地方。但係無論幾多挑戰，我哋仲一齊企喺呢度。好多人會覺得我哋已經輸咗㗎啦，有啲人仲問我哋點解今日喺船都仲行出嚟，有啲咩辦法可以改變到香港嘅局？我覺得其實個答案好簡單嘅，我哋係為咗我哋屋企人嘅未來行出嚟，為咗捍衛我哋嘅文化行出嚟，亦都係為咗我哋嘅下一代行出嚟。大家話係咪啊？其實對我哋嚟講，場運動並冇輸到。我哋今次可能未必真係贏到，但係即使好多人知道呢個事實，仍然會願意用自己嘅血肉之軀守護我哋嘅家園。呢一年嚟，身邊嘅人無數走嘅走，上庭嘅上庭，坐緊監嘅坐緊監。但仍然好感激嘅係，直到依家喺香港都願意有好多人每日去法院門口放庭，去幫襯流亡手足嘅亡燕。舉個例子，呢塊台灣嘅芒果當造。我知道有好多流亡嘅手足同埋香港俾人告緊嘅人，佢哋喺度周圍買緊嗰啲愛民芒果。雖然澳洲我知道芒果入口唔到，但我已經幫襯咗佢哋寄咗啲翻去香港嘅屋企人。anyway 啦，咁一個例子啦。老實啲講，咁我哋除非我哋心連心，如果唔係我哋冇可能繼續撐到落去。如果有一日連我哋都放棄埋咧，咁就真係輸㗎啦。我哋遺忘咗自己嘅歷史，呢個就係中共想希望我哋達到嘅目的。呢場仗未打完嘅，既然香港人冇辦法喺自己嘅土地上面發聲，我哋就更加要成為佢哋嘅聲音。唔單止響悉尼，全世界仲有好多人記得今日，因為呢個時差，可能悉尼係最後一個舉行612兩週年紀念活動嘅地方。但我相信今日好多世界上好多人都仲會記得去紀念佢呢一日。作為海外嘅香港人，我哋更加要堅持住香港嘅精神。廣東話榮光，光復香港時代革命，香港獨立等等嘅口號，呢啲嘢喺香港可能冇辦法再講，咁由我哋大聲講落去，好唔好？相信呢個擔子係由我哋去保護。香港好多年輕人已經犧牲咗佢哋，話俾全世界知中國嘅野心。依家就要由我哋抗爭，將呢個信息傳揚開去，光復香港，光復香港，光復香港。中共就梗係想我哋全世界人都忘記2019年啦，佢哋想我哋忘記立法會嘅一役，想我哋忘記831，想我哋忘記我哋嘅手足點樣俾人打、俾人拉、點樣死因冇可疑，佢哋想忘記我哋，佢哋對我哋所有屋企人種種罪行。但係中共最想忘記，我相信係我哋係香港人，我哋熱愛自由、捍衛自由、接受被死路嘅人。中共嘅最終目的係想抹殺任何有關香港嘅舊記憶，聽落好似有啲誇張，但係一個極權嘅政府有乜可能容許到有啲自由嘅人喺佢哋左近？冇人會知下一年嘅6月11號會唔會係6月13號，就好似6月3號之後冇咗一日咁樣。香港人嘅奮戰係提醒埋喺場內嘅人，世界上所有人冇人係需要屈服於暴政，我哋可以自己主宰到自己嘅命運。要阻止中共達成咗佢哋嘅目的，我哋就要保存香港嘅文化。呢件事唔係單靠1兩場集會就可以達成。順帶一提，嚟緊8月就會係澳洲嘅人口普查啦。咁我哋可以趁呢個機會話俾澳洲啲朋友聽，我哋係香港人，同埋身為香港人嘅意義。我哋可以話俾人聽，其實我哋講廣東話嘅。我哋可以 教識自己嘅細路仔講廣東話，寫正體字，話俾人知香港人係一班熱愛自由同捍衛自由嘅人。同時，我哋應該身體力行咁去支持澳洲。澳洲依家面對緊嘅係中國嘅威脅，呢份強權係我哋香港人好熟悉嘅。我哋好明白澳洲面臨嘅危險。世界上咧冇一個國家係完美嘅，當然澳洲亦都唔例外。但係呢個國家所重視嘅人權、民主、自由、法治精神都係值得我哋一齊捍衛嘅。你可能話我哋係一個普通人，冇乜嘢可以做到，但其實好多嘢我哋都可以去做嘅。例如幫手買多啲 Made in China 嘅嘢，唔好再買咁多 Made in Australia 嘅嘢，唔好再買咁多 Made in China 嘅嘢，唔好意思。未瞓醒天寒地凍嘅老年。喺敵人面前，大家都應該不分黨派。我哋香港人嘅社區未必會係澳洲最大嘅一個社區，但係我哋亦都有權利用選票，利用我哋嘅荷包去表態，去發聲，去對抗極權。我哋要提醒澳洲人中共嘅所作所為，即係最慣常嘅伎倆，就係指責任何對抗佢哋嘅人都係種族歧視，就好似武漢肺炎咁樣，已經話咗俾全世界人知佢哋係幾咁無賴啦。作為亞洲人，我哋要話俾人聽，對抗中共係同種族無關，反共係對抗緊暴政。當然，我哋喺抗爭嘅路上會有好多阻礙，但我哋只要唔放棄就可以成功啦。嚟緊就有好多721、831呢啲令人傷痛嘅紀念日，但我哋絕對唔能夠絕望，總有一日我哋會光復嘅香港見。我唔可以代表今日在座嘅所有人講嘢，但希望我某一程度上都表達咗你啲心聲俾其他人聽。多謝大家咁動然願意企喺度去表達對香港嘅支持。容許我最後講一次：光復香港！光復香港！光復香港！多謝大家。
好多謝阿思寶嘅分享啊！正如我頭先所講，唔單止台灣嘅朋友同我哋香港人一樣，擁有好多共同嘅核心價值。喺過去嘅1年，泰國嘅人民亦都展開咗一場民主同改革嘅抗爭。見到泰國嘅人民走上街頭抗爭，佢哋嘅行為彷彿就同我哋當年喺69、612，甚至乎喺整成年入面都係差唔一樣。佢哋嘅勇氣，佢哋嘅信念鼓勵咗我哋，因為捍衛民主自由係無分國界嘅。
Many on social media called for a milk tea alliance, and we agree. We've had the privilege of speaking at their event not long ago, so we are especially excited to have our friends speak for us today. Please welcome KK from the Australian Alliance for Thai Democracy.
大家一齊歡迎 KK， 我哋泰國嘅手足。
Hello everyone, my name is Ganyanat Kalfanjianis. I am the spokesperson for the Australian Alliance for Thai Democracy. I am here today on behalf of the Thai community in Sydney, Australia, and all across the world as well. We stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who are fighting for democracy in Hong Kong. The democracy movement in Hong Kong has been an inspiration to youth in countries that are under dictatorship, including Thailand, and youth, there are people around the world, even though they're not under dictatorship. But the Hong Kong people have given us hope that this world and this generation, this is the time, this is our time to stand for our own rights. It has been too long for the Hong Kong people just to have the government that stands for themselves. It is the right that Hong Kong people deserve to have the election that is fair and just, to have the government that's supporting them, the government that works for Hong Kong people, not as the minion and the subject of the CCP. We feel for you. We share the same sentiments that Hong Kong people have been suppressed the whole time. We, the Thai, have welcomed a lot of Chinese immigrants immigrants in our country. Many of them have lived in Thailand. They enjoy the freedom in Thailand, but somehow they forgot that once they left China because China fell under communism. They moved to Thailand and they call themselves the subject of the king, and they enjoy dictatorship once again. So I tell you, those people, they forgot who they are. They forgot who they're from. They forgot that once they were the free people of China, that they fled the country for better lives. If you've seen messages, if you've seen comments that they look down on you, that they insult you, that they say that your claim is not right, you can tell them back. Once they left the country for better future, now the Hong Kong people stand in their own stand, in their own country, for their better future and for democracy they long deserve. My fellow democracy fighters, this fight going to take, it could be our generation, but we have to stand against the dictatorship, against all those countries that even among the death of a lot of people, the detention, the suppression, you see what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Myanmar, what's happening in Hong Kong, what's happening in Thailand. But what are the response from the countries that they call themselves that they stand for democracy? Where are the UN? Where is the Australian stand? The Australian government, I'm calling for your help. Not just for my country, not just for the Hong Kong people, but for our fighters that fight for their rights to live under the roof that is safe, under the roof that works for them. It is not fair seeing you guys covering your face all here, not because of COVID, but because of the safety of yourself and the people back in your home country. This is the risk we are fighting at the moment, and the Australian government has to protect us. And the Australian government has to do more. What they are doing at the moment is not enough. The Australian government declared trade war against China, but is it just a front page, or is there anything behind it? I'm calling for you, Maris Payne and Scott Morrison. Do your job. You call yourself the democracy country that welcomed immigrants during the Tiananmen massacre. But what are you doing now when a lot of students, a lot of people in China, in Uyghurs, in the Xinjiang region, the Uyghur people, they are being suppressed, they are being killed, tortured. What are you doing? Have you recognized that yet? And have you recognized the rights of Hong Kong people? This is the message, not just for me, not just for us here, but this is the message for the people in our generation. And my generation, and anybody alive at this moment, it's not just the young people anymore. It involves everybody, not just people my age, not just students, but all the working class. So I hope that today we could send them signal that the people in Australia, not just from Hong Kong descendants, not just from Thai, not just Asians, but I hope that everybody that call themselves the free people of the world would stand with Hong Kong and stand with the democracy. And I hope that the real leaders of the world would do something. And as the So please keep in mind you're not alone. And the Milk Tea Alliance is not just a joke, it's not just a meme, not just internet meme. When you have friends in Asia, across Asia, and you have friends in Australia as well, that we will stand with you, and we will stay with you until democracy is restored, and until the Hong Kong people is free. Free Hong Kong!
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 Thank you.
Milk Tea Alliance!
Thank you, KK. We hope that your fellow Thai people will succeed in changing your country. Until then, we stand with you.
Sorry， 好，我都知大家想聽我哋壓軸嘉賓許智峰等到等佢講嘢，等到別長頸鹿㗎啦。好，而家我哋有請許智峰出場。許智峰，介紹翻先啦。許智峰咧係前立法會議員，因為呢一場運動同埋個人政見而付上咗好沉重嘅代價。今日佢專程喺 Adelaide 過嚟同我哋紀念612呢個日子。我哋而家將個文交俾你嚇。
Thank you everyone for having me. I'll first speak in Hong Kongese and then I'll speak in English. 喺度好感謝大家出席今次嘅集會，感謝 New South Wales Hong Kongers。喺度見到大家咧，其實我好激動啊，因為喺離開香港半年啦，一直都冇試過同一時間見到咁多香港人嗌住我哋香港人嘅口號，繼續係為咗香港，我哋嘅自由，我哋嘅反送中運動嘅延續。今日見到大家係好榮幸，亦都好激動，尤其是喺身處一個異地。612對我嚟講係好重要、好重要嘅日子嚟嘅，所以無論喺一個好遠嘅地方都好，今朝坐飛機嚟，我都覺得好值得嚟。612，我諗翻起嗰朝早，我喺立法會準備入去審議逃犯條例。當時我係着住恤衫西褲，因為我諗住入到去開會嘅。我係諗住入到去幫我條好命，就算犯法嘅嘢都好，我都要擋住條例嘅通過。我準備好晒㗎啦，其實已經。但係我發現我入唔到去，我好開心我入唔到去，因為嗰朝早喺中環行到翻去立法會嘅時候，立法會已經被所有嘅係年輕人包圍住，我好感動。我見到佢其中一啲年輕人問我，許議員你可唔可以同我哋一齊？我一口答應咗話，當然係一齊啦。咁所以嗰朝早面對住好多嘅防暴警，我知道佢哋蠢蠢欲動，佢哋係想拉人打人。我就同佢講：你要打我哋後面呢班年輕人嘅話咧，你就打咗我先啦。我哋同嗰班年輕人一齊，一直喺立法會外面係等到下晝，跟住啲防暴警就按捺不住啦，佢哋就射催淚彈，用好多唔同嘅武器。之後嘅歷史大家都記得。但係612重要嘅就係、對我個人嚟講，612係一個決志嚟嘅。因為嗰日點解我唔使入去開會，唔使用我自己條命，唔使犯法去坐監，就係因為呢班年輕人頂咗喺前面。當日唔係立法會，唔係我哋嘅民選議員擋住逃犯條例嘅，係香港人，係香港嘅年輕人，係冒住法律嘅風險，冒住自己條命出去闖嘅。所以當日我就立志，我話日後成場反送中運動，直到以後都好。佢哋去到邊度我就去到邊度，我唔會 係有效。邊度有香港人，邊度有抗爭運動，我就去到邊度去撐住大家。我都希望香港人一齊撐住香港，因為場運動係完全未完嘅，我哋仲有漫漫長路要走，決唔係講緊3-5年就可以做到光復。我都好期待有一日可以翻到屋企，翻到香港，喺煲底下面約定大家再見。但係我知道呢個係漫漫長路嚟嘅，但係我有信心啊！19年之前呢，我都曾經灰心過。我喺議會裏邊，每一刻喺議會裏邊起身發言，我都覺得我自己喺度英文叫 endorse 咗，即係入咗去呢個制度裏邊變成一部分。我唔想嘅，因為嗰個制度係一個不公不義嘅制度。所以諗翻起，我作為曾經係大家嘅議員，我最光榮嘅一刻，覺得自己最有用嘅一刻就係喺反送中嘅街頭。呢個係我可以滋潤一生嘅回憶嚟。所以喺未來，我哋知道我哋要打嘅仗，可能係10年、20年或者一個世代嘅人。我哋可以做嘅係乜嘢呢？特別我哋已經喺海外嘅，我哋有自由嘅，我哋就應該用盡我哋所有自由。我哋仲有抗爭嘅空間嘅，我哋就應該做到底。所以我希望未來有唔同形式嘅香港人嘅聚會，我哋要集合埋一齊，我哋要成為喺海外離散港人一個更加大嘅力量。我好相信，我哋一人行多步，我哋就可以成為一個更大嘅持份者，一齊行去一個俾全世界都睇到、聽到我哋嘅地方，去影響住當地嘅社群，影響住呢度嘅議會、呢度嘅議員，去到等佢哋喺國際上面幫我哋發聲。但係唔單止係靠佢哋，喺翻世界上好多流亡嘅群眾，佢哋點解可以喺幾十年之後、過百年之後，依然都可以係屹立不倒？因為佢哋肯走埋一齊，佢哋肯行多一步。所以我希望香港人，我哋要走埋一齊，我哋要行多步，將呢個精神延續落去。我睇到嘅面孔喺我面前就係大家仲係好有戰意，仲係冇灰心，仲係要為香港繼續打落去嘅面孔。所以我係有信心嘅。假以時日，我哋翻返一個自由嘅香港，翻返去一個已經光復咗嘅香港。
光復香港！時代革命！
好，不如我哋一齊嗌幾次，我好耐冇嗌過啦，好嘛？光復香港！
時代革命！
光復香港！
時代革命！
光復香港！
時代革命
！Fight for freedom！
社會普及
！Fight for freedom！
社會普及
！Fight for freedom！
社會普及
I'll also speak in English now. Thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here, to stand with all of you, because I'm actually one of you. June 12th is a very important day to me, so this is a very important event. And that's why I flew from Adelaide this morning, and just to attend that, and it's so worthwhile. June 12th its importance is in that it's the very first time in the anti-extradition movement, and perhaps also in the history of Hong Kong, that it's a democratic struggle participated by all people, all walks of life, from radical to the moderate, to young protesters and elderly. I remember that day we all stood together outside the Hong Kong Parliament. I was about to step in. That's a resumption day of the anti-extradition bill. But then we parliamentarians didn't stop the bill from passing. It's the people, it's the young people. So on that day I made my determination that because all the young people sacrifice their lives for us, so that I will follow them around wherever they go, wherever they are protest, wherever they are protesters, I should stand in front of them, but not behind them. That's my determination. And that determination is still valid, even I'm not in Hong Kong. That's why I'm here, to be one of you, to stand in front of you. And it's really important for us to speak out, because Hong Kong has lost all the freedom. Now, chanting a slogan itself is illegal. There's no way possible to have public assemblies, street demonstrations, and quite many of them, it's painful to see my comrades, the parliamentarians who sat next to me, right next to me, for years, now in jail. For the activists who've been marching in the streets of Hong Kong for so many years, now in jail. It's quite hard to imagine this day would come, but now since it's here, and we fight against it. As we have our freedom here, we use all of the freedom. That's why we gather today, and it's really, really important for us Hong Kongers, the Hong Kong diaspora voice to be heard. And I think it's also very important, just now we heard that we have support and we have allies in local parliamentarians, in journalists, in also other ethnic groups who are also persecuted by the CCP and by other authoritarian regimes in the world. We stand together. We share the same value of freedom and democracy. That's why we need to be united. It's not only about Hong Kong's freedom, it's about the world's freedom. And it's in line with Australians' values of freedom and democracy. We have to uphold it. We have to speak loud so that we can be heard. And I hope that as we are more united, we can be a bigger and bigger stakeholder in the international community, of course also in the Australian community, so that things can change slowly. What can Hong Kongers overseas do? Just gather together and don't wait for an opportunity to participate in an event. You organize an event, you take steps forward. And as I understand that there are quite many Hong Kongers cultural associations coming up in different cities. So I believe that it's my job and it's our job to connect with each other, connect with Hong Kongers all over Australia and all over the world. And I believe that's how we go to a place and be seen and be heard. I assure all of you and the international community that Hong Kongers have not given up. Look at the faces here. Look at how determined you are. We have not given up at all. Our spirits are high. We just need some international support to speak for us. So this won't be the last time I see you, because I'm prepared to travel around Australia, travel around the region, travel to New Zealand, of course also in Indo-Pacific regions, to let Hong Kongers' voice to be heard. So I'll see you next time, and until then, please add oil. 香港人加油！
香港人，
香港人，香港人，香港人，光復香港，
是香港人，
光復香港，
是香港人
Fight for freedom，
，Saving Hong Kong，
Fight for freedom，
Saving Hong Kong。
衷心感激大家。
好，唔該晒 Cat 同埋我哋所有嘅嘉賓啊！
few minutes to collect letters for our freedom fighters. So if you haven't had a chance, you can drop off your letter or feel free to write one there.
嗱，趁仲有少少時間咧，想寫信俾在囚手足嘅朋友咧，可以而家寫啦。寫好咧就放落個箱嗰度，係啦，一個一個排好隊。咁基本上而家大家如果想寫信嘅話，可以去寫信先，因為接下來就會係有暫時係冇所有 speaker 都已經講晒㗎啦。咁如果要寫信嘅話，可以喺嗰邊寫信先。唔該晒，收好晒大家今日嚟到。
喂，冇電啊！我個電話，有冇人收到？